Blind night that uses echolocation, viewing the dark, treacherous world through sound. Trapped in a dungeon endangered by combatants, where hazards lurk around every corner. Make sound to have vision, or don't and be stealthy. Avoid impaling threats throughout the dungeon to escape. Engage with other prisoners.
Road night I've been hearing about. Could you find the key and unlock my cell?
Free them to fight back with more allies.
Let's take this guy.
The dungeon labyrinth has many paths and even more traps. Struggle through the darkness to find your freedom.
Presentation.
It's been a season of firsts here for the Venom Truck Series, but I don't think anyone in the field has a neutral stance on what is about to happen. But if you're one of the drivers who is stressing out, maybe you just need to relax, man. Do some deep breathing here, as we are in sunny, beautiful, virtual California for the first ever street circuit in the Venom Truck Series history. Round number 11 of the 5th season of the Venom Truck Series sees us here on turn 200 back at Long Beach, where things can go from mellow to militant in about one corner. It's the boys up in the booth who love long walks on the beach. It's Tommy Cook. It's the cocktail connoisseur, Matt Williamson. Welcome back to virtual Long Beach. Are we ready for some elbows up street racing here tonight?
Well, as the cocktail connoisseur, I am ready to see a little mixing up of some action here, as we normally don't see the Venom Truck Series on a road course. In fact, on a street course. In fact, this is the first time in season history. I am just wanting to get through the first turn, and I think I'll be good. Last time we were here together, that did not happen.
Yeah, absolutely. We did not make it super far into our RL Daredevil series race here before things went very, very awry. In fact, we didn't make it very far, and the back half of the field really suffered after that. But the racing up front was pretty good when we finally got motored around. So 40 laps here tonight. That's 130 kilometers for the Visit JVL out in Californeeway. 130 here at Long Beach. We've got the race control spiel right now from Ryan Dye going on. That's why my attention's a little bit split. Reiterating some of the things you would expect from race control on what is essentially the short track of road courses here. Don't be getting angry, and don't be retaliating. Expect some bumping and banging tonight. Is that kind of what you've come to expect out of Long Beach here?
Well, certainly in the Daredevil series last season, there was not only bumping and banging, but seemingly explosions in the first turn. After that, it did mellow out, but I think part of that was because we lost half the field in that first turn. So we haven't really seen a full field race here at Long Beach. These corners, there's some really fast ones and some extremely, extremely tight ones. especially the hairpin right before you go down the long straight. There can certainly be some bump and run situations around this course.
You mentioned it a minute ago. This will be the 6th road course in Venom Truck Series history. The very first on a street circuit. 4 drivers have won 5 of those races. Not all of them are here tonight. Andy Poliski has won 2 of those. Michael Kral won at the Twin Ring Motegi road course. And Paul Ellison has won on the new configuration, or the new scan, rather, of Watkins Glen. Nathan Reynolds grabbed that other win at the old scan of Watkins Glen. So unless he connects here in the next 7.5 minutes, he will be missing out again for the 2nd week in a row. But knowing some of these guys, how they race, and looking at some of the times from practice and qualifying, are these the drivers that we're expecting to be watching out for here tonight?
Yeah, I mean, Poliski certainly said that he expects to do well here. I think he said something along the lines of anything outside of the top 3 would be a major disappointment. I know that we've seen big times from Steve Roman. Steve Roman was very good in practice, as was Paul Ellison. So those are some of the drivers that we're going to be looking for here tonight to put together a good run. Hopefully they can make it through the first turn and have the ability to show what they're made of here.
And Andy Poliski, he just dumped it off on the pit road. I was hoping we could get a lap around the track with him. I'm looking for anybody that is working on the front straightaway. Maybe we can get a lap around the track here. Jan Van Leer is the namesake of this race. He just crossed the start-finish line. Maybe take us on a lap, hopefully all the way around Long Beach.
Yeah, we're going to go ahead and go to Jan's cockpit cam here. This is coming down into turn 1, and you have to get it binded up pretty good into a left-hander. And then they're going to go around the fountain here, a little semicircle right-hander type of turn, kind of a sweeping corner. There's a lot of sweeping, nearly 90-degree corners around this track. It's kind of hard not to get into the back of somebody if they are right in front of you, especially since you don't know how slow somebody might take those turns on accident. So that's where you're going to see a little bumping and banging, is somebody just getting right into the back of somebody and maybe spinning them out, which would probably not be good for either party. So you want to avoid that at all costs.
Yeah, a lot of tight turns here, especially on the final sector of the course here. Getting down to about 60, I think, around this right-hander. And then 2 sweeping lefts here, still around that 60-mile-an-hour mark. And then watch this, a big, wide swinging right-hander. 30 miles an hour is the speed there. And then right back to the gas. A lot of tight turns, a lot of off-camber turns. It's quite the hodgepodge. And again, made for open-wheel cars. And we are rocking the stock cars here tonight, and sort of pushing this to its limits here. Having to do a little bit of filling because somebody, one of the 2 of us, not going to name any names, did not see that this warm-up was 10 minutes. Thought it was 5 minutes. So, again, not going to name any names. But it was one of the 2 of us.
Well, I have a little bit of insight on this. I can tell you it wasn't me. So
if that goes to narrow it down for anybody else.
Yeah, that narrows it down just a little bit. If anybody else can figure it out, go ahead and put that in chat and let them know that they screwed up on this one.
And didn't have a whole lot of time either on my part today due to some work stuff to prep graphics either. But I'll take a look at the point standings here, heading into race number 11. Just a few races to go this season. Andy Poliski and Jeremy McKinnon, they finished 1st and 2nd last week in Martinsville. And they are 1st and 2nd in the points as well. So Poliski increased his gap to 16 points over McKinnon, who finished 2nd, but he never got up and led any laps or got any bonus points of any sort. So Poliski did a great job of widening the gap. McKinnon, when we had him up in the booth last week, said he was not feeling super confident here tonight. I think the thing, whether things go boom or bust for McKinnon here tonight, he could feel maybe a little bit more comfortable. The fact that we've only got 18 trucks on the grid as of right now. That's, I mean, even if he is involved in some sort of calamity into turn number 1, it's not going to be the end of the world in terms of point stays.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a ton of trucks out here. I think as long as you kind of survive the first melee of the first lap, I think you'll end up being okay. This track can be pretty hard to get into a rhythm with. Some of the corners come up on you a lot quicker than you expect them to, so you got to be on your toes here.
What else are we going to be looking at here tonight for some of our race conditions and some fuel and a little bit of a different formatting here tonight since it's a road course?
Yeah, we'll take a look, first of all, at the track conditions, or the road conditions, I suppose. 89 degrees. Whoa, as Cole Maxwell and the Ric Flair paint scheme goes for a ride on us there.
Was it a ride in a limousine?
I don't think that was a ride in a limousine, but he kind of looked like a jet flying there for a minute. 89 degrees here on the road temperature at Long Beach on the street course. Some other things to keep in mind here is the fuel window is about 30 to 35 laps, so it's going to be a one-stopper. Might see some split strategies, trying to maybe short pit. I'm not sure. It depends on where you're at in the field, probably. Also, no cautions tonight unless we have the devastating turn 1 incident. That hopefully will not happen, but commentator curse, it'll probably happen now that I mentioned it.
But you also just did mention that it's going to happen, so maybe it won't.
Oh, playing both sides of the coin there.
Yeah,
See, if you play both sides of the coin, you can't get blamed for anything.
Yeah. Yes, you're not going to lose.
Also, the homeless hero in the chat said hashtag blame Tommy a little bit ago. And, I think he nailed it right on the head.
Yep. Not always, but certainly sometimes. This is one of those times. I agree. Still got another 30 seconds.
This is what you and I do best, fill time with absolutely nothing important.
I guess, yep. It's the Seinfeld of iRacing here. Up in the booth. Absolutely nothing important going on. But we're happy to be here. We're happy that you're here watching. Let us know if you're hanging out with us. I know we got JK Gaming in the chat, but let us know that you're hanging out with us. As tonight's race rolls along, we got 40 laps around Long Beach for race number 11 of season number 5, 6th road course in Venom Truck Series history. And the starting grid here in about 5 seconds. Matt will be able to pull it up for you, but I'm going to get a head start on it. They're going to roll off like this. Andy Polisi coming off of his first win of the season, 10th win of his career, and now he has career pole number 7. He is going to lead the field to green, starting to his outside. Great start tonight for Paul Ellison on the outside of the front row, a winner at Watkins Glen last season. On row number 2, how about it? A great start here tonight for your all-star race winner, Michael Dean. 4th place finish at Watkins Glen last season is his best career road course finish in the Venom Truck Series. Ryan Dye, 2-time and defending series champion, needs a couple of big swings here coming down the stretch to get himself back in the points battle. Runner-up finisher last season at the Daytona road course is his best career road course finish. Michael Krall, Twin Ring Motegi winner in season 2, is the 5th place starter here tonight. Jeremy McKinnon in 6th place, not feeling super confident last week when we talked to him, and is not finished inside of the top 10 in a road course in the Venom Truck Series as of yet. His fate could change here tonight. Kyle Zittel and Jan Van Leer, the namesake of this race, will start on row number 4, and then it is Steve Roman and Brantley Gainey on row number 5. Garrett Rainey, Eric Breeding on row 6. Will Salamone, Luke Peterson, row 7. Cole Maxwell, Kyle Dumig, and Corey Rutherford round out the field. Trucks are rolling. The green flag is going to drop, but the whole field is not going to be around the hairpin, so They're going to wait until all the trucks are around the hairpin before Andy Poliski is going to be allowed to go. So Poliski is waiting for a command from race control to accelerate here. All right. And he gets the command anyway. Green flag is out. We are racing in Long Beach. What a great jump here for Poliski as they barrel down Shoreline Drive towards turn number 1.
So far, so good through turn number 1, and now everybody is through.
Into Aquarium Way. It could stack up here in a hurry. We're clean and green through the first 4 turns. Oh, McKinnon cost a little bit of a stack up. Roman is around. Gainey runs wide, trying to avoid, but he doesn't make any contact.
Somebody else, Gainey actually went around as well. I think he got stacked up and somebody made some contact with him.
Gainey just went wide. He didn't make any contact. So what happened is McKinnon sent it a little bit deep. Vroman followed him in and locked him up, trying to keep it off of McKinnon. And so not really any contact with Vroman to start it, but a few trucks, not really anything they could do on their way by. And a couple of drivers made contact with Vroman as McKinnon runs a little wide through the hairpin and fends off a challenge from Jan Van Leer. But up front, Andy Poliski leads lap number 1 over Michael Dean. It was jumped up to P2.
A little bit farther back there, Ryan Dye and Kyle Zittel battling hard. McKinnon and...
Whoa! Wide into turn number 1 is Ryan Dye. Doesn't make any contact, but locks it up and loses a ton of spots.
And he's going to continue to lose spots. Langston gets around him now as well. Eric Breeding in tow. He's dropped all the way to 11th after being, I think, in 4th at the time.
Just a little bit wide. It doesn't take much.
And there are some very tight corners here.
Paul Ellison has dropped a number of spots as well. He's side by side with Eric Breeding, I think, for 12th. He crossed the line in 3rd this last time by. I did not see what happened to Paul Ellison. I'm going to back it up for just a second here. I think Ellison looped it by himself out of turn number 4.
Whoa, and Jan Van Leer really loose around the hairpin. He almost spun it out. Whoa, and Will Salamone fishtailing down the front stretch as well.
So 2 laps in the books. Poliski leading Michael Dean by 2.5 seconds. Michael Krall is in 3rd by another 1.5 seconds behind Dean. As the front 3 are through Aquarium Way around the fountain.
Salamone made up a little bit of time on Jeremy McKinnon there. We'll see if he can continue to reel him in. That's going to be for a 6th place battle if he can make it happen. Andy Poliski's opened up a pretty decent sized lead here, about 2.7 seconds, and not on a bull named Fu Manchu this time.
Knew that was coming. Jeremy McKinnon just ran it wide and is going to lose a few spots.
And now Michael Krall has pulled right up to the back of the 73, and Michael Dean, I don't know if there was some sort of a mistake or if Krall has just picked up the pace here. But they're going to be side by side down the long stretch. And Krall is going to take the spot. Not where I thought that one would happen.
Krall to P2 down Shoreline, heading down into turn number 1 to finish it off. and maybe go to work here on the race leader. 4.5 seconds to try and overcome the deficit between he and Poliski, the race leader. So Poliski's led them all thus far over Krull, Dean, Zittel, and Jan Van Leer hanging in there. P5, Salamone, Rainey, Langston, Dye, and Ellison, your top 10. Breeding, McKinnon, Vroman, Peterson, Gainey, and Rutherford through the top 16 with Cole Maxwell and Kyle Dumick 17th and 18th. They're all still running. They're all still on the lead lap. About 1.5 minute long laps here. And Kyle Dumick, I think, is about 40 seconds behind the race leader.
There's a nice little grouping of trucks here just inside the top 10. Actually, a couple of them are outside. Starts with Jeff Langston, Ryan Dye, Paul Ellison, and Eric Breeding also part of this. Ellison, you mentioned, spun it out. I was looking to see if he had any damage, and I didn't see any.
Yeah, it didn't look like he hit anything. It was just an inopportune time.
But he's going to pick up the pace. You can see how stacked up they get around the hairpin there.
And he tries to high-low Ryan Dye through the hairpin there, and not sure how much time he picked up, but he's getting a little slipstream down shoreline here. May take a peek at him here inside of turn number 1. Doesn't do so. There goes Langston, though.
Langston goes, though. The same mistake Ryan Dye made.
Langston did make a little bit of contact with the barriers, though. He was really hot into there.
And that is a long stretch. You're carrying a lot of speed into a very slow corner, especially in a stock car or a truck. That is a tough ask to get slowed down for those.
JK says Krull might be turning it up. He's putting in similar lap times to Poliski. He was about 4/10 slower that last time around, but I will say Michael Dean has closed back in on Krull.
Maybe Michael Krull's used up some tire. We're now going on our 6th lap. You can see Dean's really spin the tires out of the hairpin there, trying to put the power down. Could not make it stick.
Paul Ellison ran wide at a turn 8 and nudged into the wall.
Ellison, whoa, and Michael Dean had to get it really slowed down there. Nearly made the same mistake we've seen Dye and Langston make up to this point.
So this setup is very touchy. This is the baseline road setup. There's obviously not a stock iRacing setup for this track. They didn't elect to go out and make one. They said make do with what you got.
Yeah, I feel like this is a little bit of a. It's a little bit of a tough course to make a setup for. I feel like there's a lot of different things going on here. I think street courses in general are just tough.
Yes.
to really get a setup for. We're gonna go on board here with Eric Breeding. He was the closest battle on the track. Really is between him and Paul Ellison, who is in front of him. Just wanted to get a little look at what somebody else is going through, but also perspective of somebody else and maybe the different lines that they're taking here.
He's got Vroman and McKinnon right behind him as well. So that is a nice little grouping of trucks there.
And we'll go on board with McKinnon down the front stretch here and see just how hard and they need to brake going down into turn 1. You can see how early he's off the gas. Whoa! And Breeding just a little bit too quick through the fountain turn. Slid it sideways.
Look at McKinnon. McKinnon behind him sends it too deep. Oh, he keeps it out of the barriers, though. But more time loss. Kyle Zittle's gotten through on Michael Dean for third as they work through turn number 8.
Wow, just when we thought Michael Dean was closing in on Crawl, he loses a lot of time. Don't know if he had maybe an incident.
No, I think they've... he just slipped back just a little bit, and Zittle was there.
Well, Zittle's not the only one that's going to be down, coming down on him if he doesn't pick up the pace. He's got Jan Van Leer, Will Salamone pretty close in behind as well.
Kral is faded to about, it's about 7.9 seconds at the line. The impression that I'm getting is that Kral in the front half of the course here is a lot quicker than Poliski, but Poliski's got the last sector down really well and is able to gap him when he gets back to the line. Because as he works through Sector 1 and Sector 2, his real times are down to like minus 5.9 tenths and into like the mid 6.5s. But Poliski's able to gap him in the back half of the lap.
And this is a nice little battle here we have going for the final podium position. Still a lot of racing left. 40 laps around here. That's a lot of laps, especially in these trucks. It's going to be a tough night.
Yeah, Poliski in the 32 truck just crossed the line to put 32 laps to go up on the board. You hit the nail on the head. Here is Dean. Look to the inside there of Zittle. And is going to lose quite a bit of time there. As a result, having to check up just a little bit.
Yeah, and Dean checked up. It slows him down out of the hairpin, and now Jan Van Leer is right on his bumper looking to make a move.
And if you're looking at those trucks entering turn number 1 and wondering why don't they arc it a little bit wider into that turn, they actually can't. The old pit lane exit, or the pit exit lane rather, is right there. If you dip 2 tires into the pit exit lane, that is a slowdown penalty.
Yeah, and when you're coming out of the pits, you have to stay in that lane all the way down, basically until you have to turn. I mean, you can't. You almost want to turn before you actually can, otherwise you'll get a black flag.
You definitely do, because you kind of lose sight of where
there's contact. Breeding hit the wall.
So Breeding runs it a little bit wide there into turn number 7 and gets it back going, but he loses 2 spots.
Doesn't seem like a ton of damage. I think there's a little crinkle on that left side.
He hit it pretty flush. There are worse ways you can go barreling into that tire barrier. That's for sure. Poliski is up 9.5 seconds over Michael Kral right now. Poliski just got through Kyle Dumig without any issue. Actually, Kyle Dumig is on pit road, I believe, so. But it's been a nice, easy Tuesday drive, if there ever was such a thing, for the race leader, Andy Poliski, thus far. He's putting his money where his mouth is up to this point. As Jan Van Leer just got through on Michael Dean there into turn 7. Dean is starting to slip back just a little bit.
Yeah, there's just a couple of spots where we've seen him make some mistakes. I don't even know if it's mistakes, just hasn't quite figured those sections out quite as good as the other competitors. But in a lot of spots on this track, he is faster than those two in front of him.
Still hanging on to the top 5 here, so there's definitely hope for Michael Dean, especially how easy it is to make a mistake around Long Beach here.
Garrett Rainey and Ryan Dye are now pretty close together. Ryan Dye in the 7th spot.
It's been a little more mild-mannered than I was expecting from this race. You gotta, I mean, all the credit of that goes to the drivers, because when Ryan Dye put this race on the schedule, he wanted nothing but chaos.
Yeah, we really haven't seen it at all. I mean, we've seen a few incidents, him being one of them that ended up, well, it didn't hit the wall quite, but made a big mistake, lost a lot of time. But other than that, I mean, really nothing doing. I mean, they were pretty much single file almost as soon as the race started. I think they all knew what the potential was for incident, and they all collectively wanted that to not happen, so they gave each other a lot of room, I think. Garrett Rainey's...
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say Garrett Rainey's fallen off the back of the 15 just a little bit here. Swung it really wide in the fountain turn, just made a little bit of a mistake.
Jan Van Leer's been on the attack for the last couple of corners as Kyle Dumig cut turn number 7 so tight that he actually hit the inside wall into the corner, but he didn't lose any time. I think it was more of a net code contact, but that's how close it was. But Jan has been within spitting distance of his tailgate. See if maybe he can get a look here through the hairpin. No, pretty defensive line there for Zittel. And a great exit. Zittel has got the hairpin down pretty.
Whoa,
pretty
Salamone in the back. Oh my goodness, I thought he was going to hit the wall. He was fishtailing for about, I don't know, 100 yards at least.
Jeff Langston is off course. I think he's got it pointed back in the right direction, but it took him a minute. He went around for a couple of loop-de-loops there into turn number 7.
Paul Ellison has come into the pits.
Yeah, it's not been the start for the race that Paul Ellison has wanted from the outside pole. A couple of incidents for him already. Oh, around Kyle Dumig. Jeff Langston piles in with nowhere to go. The troubles continue for Jeff Langston. And if he didn't have damage already, there is a lot of it on the truck now. He goes past the entry to pit road this time.
We're going to take a little look here. And Dumig in that second left-hander almost spins around there and ends up going around after the hairpin right. And Langston almost climbs up on top of his hood.
I mean, that's completely blind for Langston. He would have had no idea that Dumig had just spun out around that turn.
I'll tell you what, we're going to be watching these for pretty much all night. Zittel, Jan van Leer, Michael Dean, and Will Salamone. All for the third position. They've been together the entire race, and by far the closest grouping we have.
Jan is pushing these tires hard. He's starting to get a little squiggly wiggly.
Well, we're not far from maybe somebody trying to short pit this thing. We think the pit window will actually be open within the next couple of laps.
Well, I think technically the pit window is open now. I just don't think you want to finish the race on 25-lap old tires. I think Ellison and Dumig just had some contact further back. Oh, Zittel! Oh, my gosh, Zittel collects Dean with him. Oh, my goodness. That was about as hard of an impact as you'll see. And just a little bit of snap oversteer at the absolute worst time, and Zittel is probably out of this race. Well, Michael Dean, meatball flag as well.
Yeah, he's already jumped to the pits, and I just went to look for the other incident when you called it out. We're going to take a look at the replay here. The Zittel is in the 53. You see him. He was sideways there for about half a second, and he must have just shifted, and it went sideways on him. Collects Michael Dean, and Michael Dean has a lot of damage as well. Will Salamone is able to get through. But, man, that was just when we thought we were going to be watching them all night.
Yep.
Incident occurs.
I don't think Kyle Zittel likes us. We seem to be cursing him more than anybody, I think. Oh, Kyle Dumig, I think, actually just trying to get out of the way as he's got some people coming up, but he locks it up through the hairpin. Man. That's not the way you want to hang 10 here in Long Beach, I can tell you that.
Certainly not, and after that, Ryan Dye's gotten through on Will Salamone. Salamone checked up the big time for that wreck, and Ryan Dye was able to carry his speed all the way down the front stretch because he didn't know anybody was in front of him, and they were cleared out by the time they got to him. Meanwhile, Salamone basically stopped in the middle of the front stretch, and Ryan Dye was able to get through, so Dye is up to fourth now.
I know I keep bringing his name up, but Kyle Dumig just had the save of the night. I just want to point that out. He is trying his very best here tonight, and I applaud him for it. I mean, we only have 18 trucks here tonight. A lot of people didn't come out here tonight. They are not trying. These guys are out here.
And John K. JK Gaming points out the commentator's curse is alive and well here at Long Beach.
Yeah.
We need some sort of a commentator curse fund where we give some money out at the end of the year for people we've cursed.
Oh, Ryan Dye into the
barrier. Salamone able to get through. Vroman's through as well.
Oh man, he stuffed it in there. No meatball. Oh, he said it. His sim tabbed out on him. He completely lost, perspective of where he was at. That's what it sounded like over the radio. If that's true, that's super unfortunate. I mean, that's I can relate to that one. That happens to me all the time.
The sim giveth and the sim taketh away.
It does. It do be like that, though.
Seems like it taketh a lot more than it giveth, though.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. Jeff Langston has just gone around in the fountain turn. He gets it pointed back in the right direction.
Yeah, the fountain turn, that's a tough turn to navigate if you got somebody in that.
Yeah.
That's a tough turn to navigate on its own, let alone with somebody sitting in the middle of it.
Yes, absolutely.
Whoa, there in the back you can see Roman really airing it out there. He was completely sideways off that corner. trying to put the power down. He has Will Salamone right in front of him, and this is for position.
Remember like 5 laps ago when we said that this was being a pretty tame race? What happened?
The tires went away. I think that's what's happened.
So 18 down, 23 to go. Poliski has led them all. He's got a 12.5-second lead over Michael Krall right now. Jan Van Leer is up to P3. Will Salamone in 4th. Steve Roman now P5. Ryan Dye hanging on in 6th. Garrett Rainey in 7th. Eric Breeding behind him in 8th. Brantley Gainey in 9th. And Jeremy McKinnon is hanging on in P10. Corey Rutherford, the only other truck on the lead lap right now, in P11. Paul Ellison is working over the race leader right now, trying to get his lap back on a little bit fresher tires. So he runs in 12th. And again, no cautions here tonight, so he's not going to get the lucky dog or anything. But once Poliski comes into pit sometime in the next 3 to 12 laps, question mark, he should get his lap back and be okay shape for the rest of the race. We'll have to see.
And we are on board. We're going to do a lap with Steve Roman as he tries to chase down Will Salamone. He got really loose out of a right-hander here. And these tires, you just cannot put the power down on them without spinning them quite heavily. You got to be really careful, really light on them. You can see how he's kind of tiptoeing his way, over those curbs. And he's coming up to make a pass. This is Langston. So Salamone and Roman pass Langston, who is a lap down already. So that will not be for position. And Steve Roman actually comes into pit here.
As does Ryan Dye. So Roman and Dye on to pit road. Luke Peterson pits, I believe, last time by or 2 laps ago. So he's gotten his service done. Paul Ellison has as well. Of course, Kyle Zittel and Michael Dean on pit road as well, but with meatball flags after their incident.
Well, the gap between Poliski and Michael Krall has stalled out a little bit. It's at 16 seconds. It was at 10 seconds at right around lap 10 or so. So the whooping has slowed down a little bit for Andy Poliski, but thinking, whoa, as Michael Krall nearly loops it around out of the hairpin, and he decides to go ahead and come into pit. I think that was a smart idea. Try to
Another driver with a home race here. And, yeah, why not mix it up? Come into pits a little bit early.
Yeah, he's going to get at least 1 lap fresher tire than Poliski will, as Poliski stayed out that time around.
Well, he's not under immediate threat from Michael Krall. We'll have to see if this drags him into pit road or if he's going to do his strategy that he was going to employ regardless.
I think for him it kind of depends on how much of a rhythm he's in right now. If he still feels pretty comfortable, I imagine he might stay out for a few more laps, but if he has, a couple of slip-ups during this lap, he might think, all right, I guess it's time to come down and get tires. So I think it really depends on how his personal race is going with him and his vehicle.
I believe Jeff Langston is coming down pit road. And I believe Poliski has bypassed pit road again.
He has. He stayed out.
So we're at the halfway mark. 20 down, 20 to go. Couple of incidents, one big-ish one. But cooler heads are prevailing here tonight thus far, which is nice. It doesn't always go that way.
Certainly not.
And unfortunately, we have our first official retiree. Jeff Langston is disconnected, followed quickly in suit by Michael Dean. So for now, Michael Dean will be the 18th and final finisher here tonight, unfortunately. As did Andy Poliski, I think, just had a little bit of a loop, maybe? No, not a loop. He just he saw Ryan Dye coming up behind him with fresh tires and slowed way down and let him go. So actually, a crisis averted, rather, for Andy Poliski.
And a lot of movement down pit lane now. Jan Van Leer came in about half a lap ago for Poliski. Eric Breeding, Jeremy McKinnon, and Brantley Gainey Jr. also now into the pits to get a set of tires.
Here comes Corey Rutherford as well. Here comes Andy Poliski, the race leader, into pit road.
All right, so what we're going to look for here is we're going to see where Michael Krall is going to come out here. Krall still has a lot of the track left, but pit lane speed is very slow. Takes a long time to get through the pits here.
40 miles an hour along pit road here. Poliski slid through his box. Yeah, Poliski did not get situated in his box. Sat there for at least 3 seconds and then finally got in and started his service. So a little bit of time lost there straight out of the gate.
And Michael Krall is nearly to the hairpin here as Poliski is moving. He's not to the green cone where he can continue his speed at a high rate. And Michael Krall is making his way down the front stretch right now.
There's the left into turn number 1 for Poliski.
And Krall just passing down pit road. He's going to make his left turn.
So, trying to do some math here. I
believe this gap is about 10 seconds, maybe 9 seconds.
So he picked up a little bit of time. I would say it was about the amount of time that Poliski gave up by not getting situated in his box correctly.
And now we have to remember Poliski on newer tire than Krall. So after about one lap here, when Poliski gets some heat in those tires, will likely start to advance his lead here. Although technically Will Salamone is in the lead at the moment, but has not come down pit road quite yet.
He is headed down Shoreline Drive, will cross the line, and will officially lead his first lap of the race. So Will Salamone to P1. Poliski is not that far behind him already. 8.9 seconds at the line from Poliski to Salamone. And in your tool chest there, you do have a pit stop tracker, do you not?
I do. We'll try to take a look at it.
You want to double check to make sure Salamone didn't pull a fast one on us and come down pit road already. I can't imagine that he has.
And no, it doesn't look like he has.
Okay. Because that's usually about the time that we're feeling confident about something like that. That's usually when we get caught out.
Yeah, so on this pit stop tracker here, I have it set to where we can look at what lap they pitted on. Salamone does not have a pit stop up to this point. You can see Poliski came in on lap 21, Krall on 19, so he has 2 laps of older tires than Poliski will here towards the end. Ellison, who had some issues, he's in 7th right now, but came in all the way back on lap 12.
As Salamone coming down pit road right now. So I don't think he's going to get to the line in time to lead this second lap, as there goes Poliski. So
XX Irish says, Bing Bong, you people know a lot about trucks. And I added the trucks line if you didn't figure that one out.
Yep. All right. Whatever makes you happy there, partner. I'm all about it.
If I can introduce a meme on stream anytime, I'm happy.
Yep. Love it. Lovely. Lovely.
Somebody else who's happy is Andy Poliski, who has stretched out to a 14-second gap over Michael Krall. So he's looking to just set it on cruise control here and finish out these last 17 laps.
We're about to have a battle for the 4th position as Jan van Leer has caught Steve Roman in a hurry.
This is actually for the 3rd position.
Yes, you're right, because
Salamone has come into the pits. Yes, sir.
Oh! Salamone just got tagged through the fountain by Kyle Dumig. And I think Ryan Dye was close by, but I don't think he was involved. Not a ton of damage for Salamone, but that certainly wasn't ideal.
Oh, boy, you can see Jan van Leer gets really close in the hairpin here to Steve Roman.
But anytime you seem to pull up in the hairpin, look how much time you lose down the straightaway.
Yeah,
he's gonna get the slipstream, though.
I do think when you pull up to somebody like that, you check up maybe a little more than you should, and you just...
Whoa!
Steve Roman slides it into turn 1!
Jan van Leer slips through. Roman is going to get around. He's only going to lose
and somebody else has right behind him. That was
Salamone.
Salamone.
Salamone's going to let Dye through.
Boy, is it raining there in turn 1? What is going on?
I'm going to say, I think Poliski deployed an oil slick there into turn number 1. Where he dropped a banana peel. One of the two. Damn red shells. They'll get you here at Long Beach, I tell you that.
Well, I mean, of any track that looks like a Mario Kart track, this is certainly the one.
Yeah, definitely. I would definitely say so. Can't wait for them to scan Coconut Mall and put it on the sim.
Jeremy McKinnon is working on Garrett Rainey. This is for the 9th position here. They both came in. Actually, I take that back. McKinnon actually on older tire than Rainey is. And did Rainey just have a problem? I was looking at my...
I missed it as well.
No, he didn't. I'm not sure what I saw there. Maybe he blinked out or something.
I think he blinked, yes. That is what happened. I was watching Paul Ellison battling with Eric Breeding.
I looked to my stats, and all of a sudden he wasn't in my frame anymore, and I was very confused.
So Ellison and Breeding were battling, I think, for the 7th position. Breeding ran wide through the hairpin and almost made contact with the tire barrier, and that allowed Ellison to slip through. Breeding is right back on the attack. And even with fresh rubbers, these tires are angry. They are crying through some of these turns.
Yeah, a bunch of sweeping turns like this. You want to carry a lot of speed, but you chew up your tires so quickly. As we continue to watch this battle between Ellison and Breeding. Breeding! Oh, he stopped. Did you see that?
No, I missed it.
Breeding nearly ran into Ellison, so he stopped, but Ellison spun the tires really badly out of the hairpin. Breeding is going to get by him anyways. That was a strange exchange right there.
Corey Rutherford goes around into turn number 6. Gets it pointed back in the right direction. I think he's going to have a battle on his hands now with Luke Peterson for the 12th spot as a result. But damage limitation there. That's good. As Poliski continuing to dominate this race, he's led all but one lap thus far, is leading Michael Krall by 17 seconds as they work around lap number 28. Coming to 12 laps to go next time around for Poliski. Whoa, Rainey and McKinnon have made contact. Wow. On East Seaside Way, Rainey sends it into the corner and pretty much shunts McKinnon into the tire barrier, but they keep soldiering on.
I'm going to see if I can take a replay. I see where McKinnon passed Rainey. Oh, yeah, and Rainey just slowed way down there, almost got into the tire barrier. Actually going to back that up just a little bit. Look at it full speed here. The 16 of Rainey had to slow way down so he didn't hit the tire barrier on the outside, and McKinnon did not slow down at all, got into the side of him.
And they continue to run here in close proximity to one another, just separated by a couple of truck lengths here.
Oh, and somebody's around. That's Cole Maxwell. That was right in front of Breeding and Ellison. And I'm going to go ahead and follow Maxwell for just a little bit to give this beautiful truck some TV time.
Give me 2 claps and a Ric Flair.
And the crowd goes woo.
And the crowd goes mild.
Okay. You said it, not me.
Yep. Well, it's going to be 10 to go for Poliski. Actually, it's 11 to go. He just crossed the line. If you're hanging out with us here tonight, let us know. We're picking up and putting down the subs here. So if you have subbed to us recently or have been an OG since the start of season 1 here, or season 5 rather, of the Venom Truck Series, we appreciate you coming and hanging out with us every week. We're getting to the magical 200 number. We're getting pretty dang close.
I tell you what, when we named our channel, we made our golden sub number really low. Yep. I think that was on purpose, just to give us a nice little confidence boost when we hit it.
Of course.
And for those of you that have been following us for a long time, obviously we've been doing iRacing content for the last year entirely. Only since September has that been on YouTube, so maybe some old Twitch followers in the chat with us here tonight as well. But we're not only doing iRacing content anymore, we have dipped our toes into IRL NASCAR content, also making various shorts, and actually a long-form video, Recap 200, just came out yesterday. talking a little bit about the Busch Clash that happened on Sunday night. So if you're interested in following the NASCAR season, maybe subscribe if you haven't already, or follow along with that as well.
And in terms of racing action for you, next Monday with Truck 200, we'll be back here live on Pocono, or at Pocono rather. And for the Venom Truck Series, we will be live at Iowa. So the hits just keep on coming. 165 laps at Iowa for the big on fresh, low on price 165. That's going to be a blast.
I'm still petitioning for one of our races to be called the Save Big Money, whatever number it's going to be.
Oh, God. Menards, give us a call. We want Menards on board. We like to save big money when we shop at Menards.
We sure do. And we love to see Paul Menard race as well.
I miss
Fortunately, the last time I got to see that, it was not a good day for him.
No, it wasn't.
Nor was it for me, really, if we think about it.
We'll have to think about it too hard. So, Poliski working through a little bit of lap traffic, coming to 9 laps to go. As he is headed down towards the big slowdown in turn number 1.
And a lot of the battles throughout the track have subsided here a little bit. Ellison and Breeding still close in proximity, going at it.
Yeah, we still got 14 trucks puttering around Long Beach here. It's pretty good percentage-wise. 14 out of 18. We've officially lost Kyle Dumick and Jeff Langston. Kyle Zittel and Michael Dean are still sitting in the pits with meatball flags. Michael Dean left and came back. Well, hopefully they can get out and at least make one more lap.
And you can see that Ryan Dye picked up quite a bit of damage to the front. Woo! Wound down. That was a close call. Man, you can see how badly these trucks are just starting to slide. There's almost zero grip on the front of these to make these sweeping turns with.
Yeah, it is not getting any easier. That is for sure.
No, and still with 8 laps to go here for Dye. That is not gonna help. Wow.
8 long laps, about another 10.5 minutes for these drivers. Poliski coming up on some more lap traffic here. After he's already gotten through the battle between McKinnon and Brantley Gainey. We'll have Garrett Rainey to work through now with 7 laps to go. Rainey in 9th place. Top 8 trucks looking to finish on the lead lap here. It's been a been an impressive performance from our race leader, but don't take your eyes off the prize just yet.
And Rainey does not want to let Poliski by. Oh, he
There he
slides into
goes.
the wall.
He's going to go through this time.
Boy, Rainey was pushing as hard as he could to not let the leader lap him. Unfortunately, pushed it just a little too hard. Ended up in the outside wall.
And what that does, it gives him more separation from the two trucks behind him. I'm sure much to the dismay of Poliski, but Poliski still does have about a 20-second lead over Michael Krall. But Rainey trying to get as much separation as possible from McKinnon and Gainey. And keep himself in the top 10 for the second week in a row. Make a nice little stretch here.
Yeah, McKinnon and Gainey are fairly close together here. A little battle happening. Gainey has a lot of damage to the front of his truck. Or maybe that's just a paint scheme. It looks like there's a big shadow there, but it's kind of hard to tell. I think it might just be the paint scheme.
Yeah, it looks fairly clean to me. I'd say it's...
From a distance, the big black stripe on the front makes it look like the whole hood's crinkled in there.
warped, yeah. I see what you mean. Oh, McKinnon! Oh my gosh! I thought he was going around. He held on to it. He's not out of the woods yet. Still struggling with the back end of that truck.
Yeah, we're getting to the point where on our last run, the tires really started to fade, and trying to get back to the gas, you really had to tiptoe your way onto it because those tires wanted to spin immediately as soon as you got back on it.
5 to go. How about Michael Krall? 20 seconds behind the race leader here, but has virtually been in P2 this whole race. Jan Van Leer hanging in there in P3. Steve Roman, Ryan Dye, your top 5. With about 4.5 laps to go. Will Salmoni, Eric Breeding, Paul Elston, the other trucks that are still on the lead lap here.
Yeah, Michael Krall's had some rough goes on the ovals, some bad luck, a couple of mistakes as well. Needed a good showing to get a little of his confidence back here, I think, and second place finish is certainly going to do it.
Cole Maxwell went around in the hairpin and almost pulled the trigger on looping it back around right when Eric Breeding and Paul Ellison pulled up to the scene. It was almost a catastrophe. But Ellison and Breeding have a nice little battle developing, and I think Ryan Dye is backing up to them. I think he just had a problem. We're about to have a 3-truck scrap here for the 6th position.
And Ellison and Breeding have been kind of on and off, back and forth all night on each other, battling close together and then falling apart a little bit, and now back together again. As, yes, Ryan Dye has big problems. Breeding pulls right up to the side of him.
These guys doing everything they can to hang on here in closing stages. Again, you see some of these drivers that elected to come down pit road early are paying for it here on the back end.
And to to note some of the fall off that we're seeing here. Andy Poliski's best lap time is a 1:25.7. His last lap, a
Oh! Sorry, Ellison just hit the wall hard. Go ahead.
The last lap he had was a 1:29.4, so nearly a 4-second drop off here.
That is a big fall off.
So Ellison with a problem. Breeding will now set his sights on Ryan Dye. As Poliski just went across the start-finish line, 3 to go.
Three to go, and things well in hand for the race leader. Oh, Gainey just went around in the fountain.
And that is a tight spot. Luckily, nobody really trying to get through there. Peterson and Zittel just pulled onto the scene as he started moving again.
If Peterson would have been about half a second earlier, there would have been some big trouble there. That's Kyle Zittel behind him. Zittel is back out on track. His meatball is cleared up. Michael Deans is not. That's surprising because Zittel, I thought, definitely got the worst of that exchange. Apparently not. Poliski through the hairpin, 2 to go. And just to note, because you obviously don't have, for good reason. For good reasons, you don't have the driver radio on. Everybody that's been passing Cole Maxwell this entire race has been wooing every time they go past.
I love it. I wish I could hear it, but there's probably some other things that we don't want to hear as well.
Jan Van Leer has asked for Cole Maxwell to wait for him so they can tandem draft their way up to the lead. That is the new strategy, apparently. I don't know if it's going to work.
And we've been informed that Dean had 35 minutes of required repairs.
That doesn't seem right considering how it happened, but the sim be the sim, I suppose. As Breeding and Dye, I think, are about to have a battle for the 6th position. Andy Poliski is working through the hairpin right now. He will be coming to the white flag. .9 miles for Poliski to go back-to-back and extend his points lead. I'll keep an eye on the race leader, and you are free to roam until we get to the last few corners here.
Beautiful. We'll go all the way back to Ellison and Breeding with Dye in front of them. This is the most likely spot to have some action happen. It looked like Breeding was thinking about taking a look on the inside of the 15, decides not to, pulls in behind. We'll try to get a good run out of the hairpin and see if he can put the power down a little faster than Dye can. Oh, Dye spins the tires a little bit. Still gets going pretty good, though.
Alrighty, through the hairpin, race leader Andy Poliski making his way down Shoreline Drive. It's back-to-back for the 32. Andy Poliski wins it at Long Beach. He wins the Visit JVL out in Californeeway, 130. For his 11th career Venom Truck Series victory, and everybody in front of Poliski is still on the track racing.
And among them is Dye Breeding and Ellison, who we've been watching. Ellison just about got into the back of Breeding in the 26th there through the fountain turn.
Oh my God.
Somebody just blew up down pit road, I think.
Garrett Rainey just, it was beyond a full send into the turn 1 wall.
Oh, Ellison swings it wide. He misses the wall, but he's going to lose a ton of time here.
He just is going for anything at this point. So it's down to Dye and Breeding for 6th and 7th.
We'll
As
see
Krall
if we...
finishes 2nd, Jan Van Leer 3rd, Broman 4th, Salamoni in P5. Who's going to be P6? Dye defensive through the hairpin. And he is going to hang on for P6. And that is all she wrote for Long Beach.
And Andy Poliski is about to make his way to the hairpin. Hopefully we will get some burnouts and donuts here.
Yeah, he's
going to do it where he has a lot of room, right where the hairpin is.
Put on quite the smoke show at Martinsville last week. And there's Michael Krall. I really didn't want to talk about Michael Krall a whole lot during the race here tonight because I didn't want to jinx the man. By far his best finish of the season. He is back on the podium. He's going to burn him down too, I think. And it is a well-deserved burnout for him. Oh, there comes Jan Van Leer! Cleans out the race winner, and we're going to get dueling banjos here on the front straightaway.
Oh, and they are getting pushed around.
It's bumper cars at the California State Fair. Certainly having an interesting conversation over the race radio right now. One that cannot be broadcasted.
I think these trucks are going to have to blow up before these guys stop.
This is an all-timer here.
Attempting to do the three-way.
Three's company here. I thought Poliski was going to get flipped over. And there they go. They're both blown up. All right, they're all bailing. We're going to get to talk to all three of our top finishers here tonight. After 40 laps at Long Beach, it's Poliski with his second win in a row, second on the season. Michael Krall, Jan Van Leer, best finishes of the season, first podiums on the season for both of these drivers. Can't wait to get both of them up here at booth 200. Long awaited. Steve Roman, great quiet run for him here tonight. He finishes P4. Will Salamoni, he saw a lot tonight, and he's going to walk away with P5. So great run for Salamoni here tonight. Ryan Dye, P6. Eric Breeding in 7th. Paul Elson, the last truck on the lead lap, then in 8th. You got Garrett Rainey in P9. 10th place finish for Jeremy McKinnon. Brantley Gainey, Corey Rutherford, Luke Peterson, Cole Maxwell. The final trucks that are running all the way through the 14th position. And Kyle Dumick, Jeff Langston, DNFs in 15th and 16th. Actually, Kyle Zittel in P17 was running there at the end of the race as well. And then Michael Dean, an unfortunate 18th place finish for him here tonight. But we are going to go straight into podium interviews here. We've got the one and only, the absolute legend himself, Mr. JVL, Jan Van Leer, third place finish for you here tonight. And you said the burnouts were getting weird there at the end. So glad that you can make it up into the booth without any further disturbance, I should say.
Yeah, I know those guys well enough to get out of there before it gets weird. But no, man, awesome. Glad to be here finally doing an interview and at my race, no less. So yeah, pretty stoked.
I was gonna say, when you saw this race on the calendar, was this a hell yeah, or was this a, oh boy, this is gonna be interesting?
I was hoping it was going to be Laguna Seca, but I was pretty happy when I saw it was Long Beach too. California guy, and I've been to Long Beach. It's a really awesome track. I love it. In this truck, it's very difficult, but I mean, it's always difficult. It's extra difficult in this truck. But I figured it was one where I had a good chance for a top 5, or a win if Kral and Politsky both got like COVID or something.
You started a little bit deeper in the grid there. So on the first few laps, were you expecting it to be a little more chaotic than it was?
I didn't really have too many expectations. I thought that there was a good chance that everyone was going to take it pretty easy, which is what happened. I knew that the biggest challenge was going to be the long run. It's 40 laps. It's very grueling, really tiring. And, any small mistake costs you big. So, I think I didn't qualify as well as I wanted to. I didn't have a lot of practice today, and it takes me a few laps here to get into the rhythm. So figured I would just have to do that as the race progressed.
Matt, what do you got for P3 here?
Well, we've talked about how it's a home race for you. When the schedule came out, did you start putting practice laps together pretty early to try to make this a signature race for you, your first podium here?
Not really, no. I did a few, but just to make sure that I think we tried it out just to see that the setup worked. But no, I didn't really do a lot of early practicing.
Well, I'm happy we can finally get you up here in the booth. It's about time. You've been putting together some really good runs here the last few races. So your first podium of the season, 7th of your career. Who do you want to give a shout out to here tonight?
Definitely my team and all our awesome sponsors, especially DealDosForFree.com. Clearly our top sponsor, but also Tech Tape Plus, Inca Cola on my truck this week. Again, back with those guys. That's awesome. Duke's Mayonnaise, Icy, Rim Job. You need some wheels. That's where you go. They got taste. And, just everyone in the league for keeping this fun and keeping this awesome. And you guys.
Oh, that's awesome. Thanks for the interview, and congrats on the P3 here tonight, and go party hard.
Heck yeah, guys. Awesome. I'll see you there later.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Bye.
Well,
Alrighty,
that is certainly the best shout-outs we've had up to this point.
Yep. So we that's going to be hard to top, but I have a feeling we might be getting pretty close here. It's finally time to get this gentleman up here in the race in the booth 200. Michael Kral.
Hey guys.
P2 tonight, brother. How are you feeling?
I feel pretty good about it.
Yeah, I can imagine. How was the truck driving from at the beginning, the middle, and the end there?
In the beginning, you kind of, I don't know, I was just tiptoeing early on. I think the other cars around me were doing the same. And then very early on, I watched my teammate spin around just very slowly. That sucked because he was completely sideways, so it's tough to recover. And then after a while, you could drive the truck again, but then I don't know exactly how many laps. I would say when we got to lap 12 to 15, it just started feeling really slidey. It wants to go everywhere. So you have to be very gentle on throttle specifically, but even on brake. And I had my brake bias fairly far forward just so I could keep control of the truck.
Matt, what do you got here for Michael?
Michael, congratulations, P2. It's about time. You've had some unfortunate incidents throughout the season. Where do you go from here after finally putting a good race together?
I'm kind of just going race by race. I'm not really, I don't really look too much into championship points or points in general. Every single race for me, that's it. Like that's all I'm thinking about. So, I'm really happy with second. I would have been happier with first, but there was no way I was going to catch Andy. So,
Well, we got you up here in the booth. It's the long-awaited booth debut for you here tonight. Let's give you some shout-outs. Let's give you a little airtime here.
yeah, I want to say, I guess primarily I want to say thank you. A really heartfelt thank you to my wife. Right now I'm having some trouble, and I'm just really glad that she's with me and by my side right now. So I want to say thank you mostly to her, and then my mom and my brother and sister. Um, I, Basically, that's it. I just wanted to say thank you to my immediate family.
Well, there you go. Got a love for the family, absolutely. And thank you for the time here tonight. Congrats on an awesome run here, and I hope we'll be talking to you again here soon.
Thanks, Tommy. Thanks, Matt.
All righty, partner. It's time. It's Poliski time. Who else but Andy Poliski here, our race winner. 39 of 40 laps led here tonight, and career win number 11, 2 wins in a row. Welcome back. How was that race for you?
It was a lot of fun. I was telling some of the guys, this is a very difficult track. Really have to be focused the entire time because everything happens so quick, and just a little bit of lost focus in a spot, and you end up in the wall.
Absolutely. How was how was the truck driving there at the end of the race? It had to be a handful.
Yeah, it was. It was slick. And especially if you got off the groove a little bit, it didn't want to turn. You had to fight it to turn, fight it to accelerate, fight it to brake. So it was a handful, but sometimes that's some of the most fun.
Matt, what do we got for the race winner here?
Andy, congratulations. You kind of called your shot last time we talked to you. You said you were really looking forward to this one, and anything outside the podium would kind of be a disappointment for you. Was there anything that was more surprisingly difficult than you thought it would be tonight, or did things kind of go the way you thought they would as planned?
They pretty well went as planned. I had a little bobble there. Just past halfway, 3/4 of the way, missed my braking point and got into the tire barrier. Thankfully, it was the tire barrier, not the wall, because it would have really messed the truck up if I hit the wall. But like I said, got a little lucky there. I knew going into it, as difficult and technical as this track is, it really fits into my driving style, especially on road courses. I like the vehicles that kind of slide around a little bit. So I knew it was going to be good, and it was just don't beat myself.
Well, we got 5 races left. You've extended your lead here tonight. The race that you're feeling the best about, and maybe feeling the worst about out of the closing stretch here.
Best about will probably be Wilkesboro. Last time we were there, I ran really well. Didn't quite come up with the win. A little bit got off strategy a little bit, or off sequence a little bit. It probably bit me just a little bit. So looking forward to going back there. The track I'm least looking forward to is Atlanta. It's going to be, being a super speedway type race, it's going to be survival of the fittest, I guess. Just try to make it through without getting caught up in anything.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you there. But I think if anybody can do it, I think you hold the keys. No pun intended. Who do you want to thank here tonight?
Thank my sponsors, Nissan Wichita Falls, on the truck. Again, ran a special paint scheme tonight, kind of running one of the old BRE Datsun race cars, being on a road course. I thought it was pretty fitting. Thank my wife and daughter for letting me do this every Tuesday night and several nights during the week. My teammates, again, lots of information that we share in between helps us all. It was a shame to see Jeremy having some problems tonight, but I know he'll bounce back. And then the league and you guys, it makes it worthwhile every single week coming here.
Well, there you go. Another win for you. 11th of your career. Andy Poliski, congrats again on the big win, and go party hard.
Yes, sir. You guys have a good one.
All righty, partner. That was it certainly had its moments, but that was a lot more in hand than I thought it was going to be. Credit to these drivers. They held a pretty steady wheel here tonight for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we saw some incidents, but quite small, in the grand scheme of things. Good to see them give each other a lot of room there at the beginning of the race. We know how those can go, and it was nice to see them play nice and be able to get this thing underway cleanly. I wasn't necessarily surprised that it was this tough, but I didn't think they would slide around quite as much as they did. Man, as a driver, it had to have been a really, really tough night tonight.
Absolutely. Anything else you want to say to close up shop here tonight?
As always, thanks to the viewers, thanks to the chatters that have come out for our races here up to this point. Tonight in the chat, we had Josh Maxwell just hopped in a little bit ago, XS Irish, JK Gaming, also HAT CIT Racing, and then you and myself were chalking it up with JK Gaming a little bit earlier on. So thanks to everybody that tunes in. And just a reminder, I know I said it earlier, but we do have some non-iRacing content that has come out recently, and there will be more on the way. So if you want to check that out, that would be awesome.
Absolutely. It's up on the channel. And up on the channel on Monday will be more Truck 200 action for you. Truck 200 will be live from virtual Pocono. That'll be a great one. You're not going to want to miss that one. And then we'll be back on the round and rounds for the Venom Truck Series next Tuesday. Actually, it's not next Tuesday. We got a week off. I just realized that. So in 2 weeks, we'll actually be back at Iowa for the Big on Fresh, Low on Price 165. Wow. So a day off. What are we going to do with ourselves? Holy cow.
Well, I know what I'll be doing. It is Valentine's Day, so I have...
oh, God, that's why. Yeah, see, I don't have to worry about that. I just outed myself a little bit on the stream there. You have to worry about that. I don't. So, yeah, shout out to all the sim wives. You're going to get your day next Tuesday. Don't worry about that. But I'll be sitting here waiting. Oh, brother. Yeah. That's just another freaking February 14th to me. But absolutely. So makes sense why we're not racing next Tuesday. But in 2 weeks, we'll be back at Iowa for 165 laps. The Big on Fresh, Low on Price 165. So thanks for everybody for coming out here tonight and for their continued support of the Venom Truck Series on Turn 200. We couldn't do it without you. Until we meet again. From virtual Long Beach, for everybody here with Turn 200 and the Venom Truck Series, we say so long. And congratulations to your race winner here tonight, Andy Poliski, going back to back and extending his points lead. Have a good night, everybody.